You are not free. You never were. The moment you stepped into the world, the hands of others began their work shaping you, binding you, placing in you their fears, their expectations, their needs. You became an instrument before you understood what it meant to will, and most remain in that state, serving the designs of others, mistaking servitude for loyalty and submission for peace. But power, true power, begins with a refusal, a cold, quiet decision to cut the strings. Look around. Every relationship is a negotiation of influence. Every smile hides a calculation. In this theater, no one plays the innocent for long. To lead is to accept the game for what it is, not a battle of pure ideals, but a contest of wills, where survival demands cunning, where loyalty is currency, and betrayal is never far from reach. Those who naively surrender their autonomy are devoured first. They mistake the predator's grin for friendship. They believe words over actions, promises over patterns. But you must see through the mask. Power respects only those who resist its pull and punishes those too weak to set their own terms. You wish to be loved, you wish to be understood, then you have already lost. For the love of others is fickle, and understanding is rare. Rulers who lean on affection are overthrown by those willing to be feared. Fear is not cruelty, it is clarity. It keeps your rivals cautious, your allies loyal so long as you wield it with precision, never with rage. Do not confuse this with sadism. The reckless tyrant burns himself with the same fire he turns on others. Power is not noise, it is not arrogance. It is control first over yourself, then over the currents around you. The leader's first battlefield is within. Master your impulses, or they will be your undoing. But there is no mastery without vision. The pawn never sees the whole board. The king must. Do not be content with the piece they assign you. Study the patterns of the game. Who holds the strings? Whose ambitions are clothed in virtue? Whose flattery hides the dagger? The wise ruler asks these questions daily, not out of paranoia, but out of necessity. For in politics, as in war, there are no permanent allies, only permanent interests. He who forgets this truth courts ruin. Today's friend is tomorrow's adversary. Today's adversary may serve you tomorrow. The map of alliances shifts with the winds of fortune, and only the fool believes in constancy where ambition reigns. There is no shame in using others as they would use you. To manipulate is not to betray, it is to survive. The court is a stage, and the one who appears most sincere often wears the most intricate mask. Let others exhaust themselves in outrage and sentiment. You must remain still, observant, calculating. The first to act in anger is the first to stumble. And yet, do not mistake caution for weakness. There are moments when hesitation destroys more than recklessness ever could. When fortune knocks, it is not the cautious man she favors, but the one who dares to seize her by force. Inaction is as deadly as folly. To rule is to decide, swiftly and without apology. Understand this. The people want to believe. They want to be led. They crave the illusion of stability, the theater of virtue, the comforting lie that someone else carries the weight. Give them symbols, rituals, a narrative to follow, but never let them glimpse the machinery behind the curtain. The ruler's work is too brutal, too cold for their eyes. Appear merciful, even as you make the necessary cuts. Appear generous, even as you consolidate control. And when betrayal comes, as it always does, do not act surprised, do not mourn. Betrayal is not an aberration. It is the natural consequence of ambition meeting ambition. Anticipate it, prepare for it, and when the moment comes, strike first. Mercy for the traitor is cruelty to yourself. Cut the strings, step off the board. If you are to rule your life, your realm, your destiny, you must stop being a piece in someone else's design. Power is not given, it is taken. Freedom is not granted, it is built, strand by strand, decision by decision, until no one else's hand rests on the lever but your own. Most will never attempt it. They will live and die as pawns, comforting themselves with small pleasures, numbing themselves to the weight they never carried. But you are not most. You see the game for what it is. You feel the pull of command, the curse and necessity of shaping the world instead of being shaped by it. This is no path of peace. It is not safe, nor is it noble. It is sharp, narrow, lonely, and yet, for those who dare, it is the only path worth walking. The weak may curse your name, the powerful will respect it. History may never understand you, but history will remember you. The appetite for power is rarely admitted, even to oneself. Men cloak it in noble language, in service and sacrifice, in the false humility of duty. But beneath these veils lies the same hunger that has driven rulers and rebels for centuries. To acknowledge it is not to embrace corruption, it is to confront the reality of our nature. The desire to command is older than morality, older than law. It grows in the marrow, quiet at first, then louder, until it becomes impossible to ignore. Those who repress it are crushed by those who do not. You must understand this. The human heart is not governed by reason. It bends to fear, to hope, to envy, to desire. A ruler who does not grasp this truth rules nothing. You may build laws as high as walls, draft constitutions and charters, speak of justice until your voice cracks, yet all of it crumbles the moment it collides with the instincts of the herd. It is not laws that hold a state together, but force and perception, the cold steel of coercion and the warm illusion of legitimacy. Never forget how fragile loyalty is. It is not given freely. It is purchased and maintained at great cost. Men are loyal so long as it serves them, so long as they are fed, feared, or inspired. When the winds change, they turn like weather vanes. And when they do, they will justify their betrayal with 1,000 moral excuses. They will tell themselves they were deceived, that they followed you only out of fear, that you failed them first. Do not expect gratitude. Build your power as though loyalty does not exist. In this world, appearances matter more than substance. A leader's true thoughts are irrelevant. What matters is what can be seen and heard, what can be believed. You may be ruthless in private, but in public you must be serene, composed, above the fray. Let others drown in their emotions. Let them reveal their intentions in outbursts and careless words. You must remain unreadable. To conceal your mind is to command others' imaginations. They will fear what they do not know. But fear alone is not enough. Too much fear, and they will conspire. Too much love, and they will grow bold. Balance these forces like a blade on your fingertip. A single misstep, and it cuts you. Do not waste time longing for a world where this is not so. That world does not exist. Perhaps it never did. The noble ideals men speak of equality, peace, justice are banners under which they march, but rarely are they the true destination. Ambition hides in every cause. Even the most righteous revolution breeds new tyrants. Even the most perfect republic rots from within when vigilance dies. Power has no natural resting point. It expands or it withers. To hold it is to be in constant motion, adjusting, adapting, striking. A ruler who grows complacent invites his own eclipse. One who clings to yesterday's methods will not survive tomorrow's storms. Fortune is a wild creature, contemptuous of those who wait patiently. To master her, you must be bold, decisive, even reckless at times. Fortune favors the audacious because they make her bend. There will be moments when hesitation feels safer. It is not. Delay breeds weakness, weakness breeds challenge, and challenge breeds your downfall. Better to act and err than to be paralyzed in indecision. Even a flawed decision can project strength if carried out with conviction. Weakness, however, cannot be disguised. Men smell it, like predators scent blood. Once they sense it, they close in. This is the paradox of leadership. To survive, you must sometimes be what you despise. The honest man must learn to deceive. The merciful man must learn to punish. The just man must learn to act unjustly for the sake of the state. To cling to purity is to abdicate power to those who are not so burdened. In the end, your private virtue is meaningless if it delivers your people into chaos, your allies into bondage, and your enemies into triumph. You will be tempted to believe that you are different, that you will not fall into these traps, that you can rule without compromise. This is the oldest delusion. Those who believe they are above the game are the first to be destroyed by it. Better to see clearly, you are part of this world, bound by its rules, caught in its currents. To master them, you must first accept them without flinching. Remember this when they praise you. Remember it when they curse you. The same crowd that hails you today will stone you tomorrow if the winds shift. Their memory is short, their judgment fickle. Do not govern for their approval. Govern for stability, for strength, for the survival of your authority. Give them bread and spectacles, symbols to worship and enemies to fear, and they will remain obedient. Take away these illusions, and they will devour you. And yet, even as you wield power, never forget that you are not invincible. Fortune's wheel turns for all. Today you are the hunter. Tomorrow you may be the prey. Build your foundation not on shifting alliances or borrowed strength, but on structures that endure beyond your presence. A wise ruler plans for his own irrelevance, ensuring the state survives even if he does not. To cling too tightly to power is to guarantee you lose it. You will be betrayed. Accept this. Anticipate it. Study the hearts of those around you as you would study enemy terrain. Who hungers for more than you give? Who flatters too eagerly? Who lingers too long in silence? To forgive betrayal is to invite a second, crush it utterly, or risk your own destruction. The harshness of this course is not cruelty. It is self-preservation. Do not let sentiment cloud your judgment. Every weakness you indulge in yourself is an opening your enemies will exploit. Every loyalty you extend beyond its utility is a seed of future rebellion. A ruler who cannot master his own emotions has no claim to mastery over others. Govern yourself first, or you will govern nothing. The greatest rulers are not those who loved power, but those who understood it. Its uses, its dangers, its limits. They saw it not as a prize, but as a burden to be carried with vigilance and cunning. To them, power was a blade, sharp, beautiful, and deadly. Handle it carelessly, and it will cut you down. So cut the strings. Let no one else decide the arc of your life. Refuse to be the pawn sacrificed for another's gambit. Build your own board. Set your own terms. Learn to see men not as they appear, but as they are driven by fear, ambition, envy, desire. Once you see clearly, you can never be deceived again. You will walk alone. There is no other way. The summit is cold, the path treacherous, and the company thin. But only from there can you see the entire field, the forces arrayed against you, the traps laid at your feet, the opportunities waiting for a steady hand to seize them. Most will never attempt this climb. They will choose the comfort of servitude, the security of smallness. Let them. They are not your concern. You were born for something rarer, harsher, greater. Take what is yours. Hold it tightly, but not so tightly that you shatter it. Know when to strike and when to wait, when to inspire awe and when to disappear into shadow. The ruler's art is not in mere survival. It is in shaping the world to your design, leaving behind something more enduring than fear or affection, the imprint of will. Cut the strings, or remain forever a puppet, dancing to the tune of those bold enough to pull them. To rule is to stand in the eye of the storm, watching the winds of chaos tear through the world around you, knowing that even the smallest hesitation can pull you into the vortex. It is not peace you seek, for peace is an illusion, a momentary lull before the next tempest. It is not love you seek, for love fades, and those who depend on it are left hollow when it withdraws. What you seek is command over yourself first, then over the world. Do not pity those who remain blind. The herd moves in circles, endlessly repeating old mistakes, seeking safety in numbers. They whisper of freedom, yet they shackle themselves to every passing fad, every promise of security. They fear the one who walks alone because he reminds them of their chains. If you are to be that solitary figure, you must accept their fear as the price of your clarity. Men are weak, and they despise weakness in others. They will never forgive you for showing them the truth of their own servility. If you must play the part of the shepherd, Do so with calculation, not compassion. Guide them not because they deserve it, but because their disorder threatens your stability. They do not need your honesty, they need your strength. Every throne is built upon compromise and blood. No ruler ascends without debts, without enemies, without the lingering ghosts of those sacrificed along the way. To believe otherwise is to lull yourself into ruin. Purity is the luxury of poets and priests. You are neither. The ruler must do what the poet cannot imagine and what the priest dares not name. Resist the urge to justify yourself. The moment you seek moral vindication, you hand power to others. Let them debate your virtues while you consolidate your position. Let them gossip about your motives while you move pieces unseen. Influence flows not from words, but from control over the levers others do not see. There is no greater blindness than sentiment in the affairs of state. To favor a friend against the interests of the realm, to pardon an enemy out of pity, to delay action for fear of being called cruel, these are not virtues, they are cracks in your armor, and cracks widen. Once they see hesitation, they will exploit it. Once they sense guilt, they will wield it as a weapon against you. You cannot afford such weaknesses. If you must strike, strike cleanly. If you must punish, punish without spectacle, but without hesitation. The ruler who hesitates when the knife must fall will soon find it at his own throat. Mercy to one traitor can breed 100 more. Yet power is not sustained by terror alone. Fear may secure obedience, but it cannot build. A ruler must be feared enough to prevent rebellion and respected enough to inspire order. To achieve this balance is rare. Most err on one side and are destroyed by the other. The tyrant who rules by fear alone is toppled when the people's hatred outweighs their terror. The weak ruler who leans on love is overrun when his subjects no longer fear consequences. Only the subtle ruler who walks the edge between awe and dread endures. Be as the lion in ferocity and as the fox in cunning. The lion alone is vulnerable to traps. The fox alone is vulnerable to wolves. Together, they make a ruler no enemy dares to provoke. Learn to read men as you would read a battlefield. Their strengths, their vanities, their desires, their weaknesses. Every man has a price, and every man has a breaking point. Find both. There are no permanent victories. Every success carries within it the seed of its decay. Complacency is the shadow that follows triumph. The city you pacify today will breed resentment in silence. The minister you elevate today will grow ambitious tomorrow. The populace that cheers you today will turn against you when fortune falters. Expect it. Prepare for it. To endure, you must think in decades, not days. Build institutions that outlive you. Embed your authority in rituals, in symbols, in myths that bind the people's imagination. They must believe that to challenge you is to challenge the natural order itself. The greatest rulers craft legacies so deep that even their enemies unwittingly serve them. But do not mistake legacy for permanence. Even the strongest empires fall. Even the most feared rulers fade into memory. Understand this, and you will not cling desperately to the trappings of power when your time comes. Rule as though each day is both your first and your last, with the urgency of one ascending and the detachment of one prepared to vanish. Do not trust too easily. Trust is the luxury of the weak. Give loyalty sparingly, as one gives a blade only to those whose interest is bound tightly to yours, and even then, watch them. The most dangerous enemy is not the open rebel, but the smiling advisor who whispers in your ear. Keep no counselor too close. Rotate their favor. Divide their ambitions. Let them fear your disfavor more than they desire your friendship. And if you are betrayed, act swiftly. Nothing is more corrosive to authority than hesitation in the face of treachery. The first betrayal is the ruler's test. How you respond will define the rest of your reign. Make it clear that treachery is a crime from which there is no return. Others will think twice before following the same path. This is the burden of command. There is no peace here, no rest. Even in victory, you must keep vigil. To rule is to dwell in a house of daggers, never knowing which will fall. And yet, For the one who accepts this truth, there is a cold serenity. You no longer flinch at the world's chaos because you see its pattern. You no longer fear betrayal because you expect it. You no longer cling to illusions because you have burned them all away. Cut the strings, step into the silence where only your will speaks. Let them call you ruthless, cunning, cold. These are the names they give to those they cannot control. You do not need their love, only their obedience. You do not need their understanding, only their fear of what happens when they defy you. If you are to rule, not merely exist, not merely drift, you must become the architect of your own power. Build it quietly, guard it jealously, wield it without apology, and when the time comes, relinquish it without weakness. For in the end, even rulers are pawns on a larger board, and the only victory is to leave your mark before you are removed. You will be told that power corrupts, that to seek it is to abandon your soul, that to hold it is to poison your own blood. But this is the excuse of the powerless, the hymn they sing to soothe their own submission. Power does not corrupt, it reveals. It strips away pretense and forces the hand to act. The man who blames power for his crimes was never innocent. He was only waiting for the moment to act without consequence. To lead is not to escape corruption, but to choose which poisons you will drink and in what measure. No one escapes untainted. You will make compromises that disgust you, issue commands that haunt you, sanction actions that would revolt your former self. Yet hesitation here is more deadly than guilt. The ruler who pauses to mourn his lost innocence is the ruler whose throne is already crumbling. You cannot bend the world without first bending yourself. Your pride must become steel, your desires sharpened into tools, your fears muted into caution. The stronger you are within, the less the outer world can break you. But the moment your inner discipline falters, the edifice collapses. Those who seem to rule nations but cannot rule their own appetites are merely kings in name. Learn to see men as they are, not as they claim to be. Strip away the masks. Behind every gesture of loyalty there is calculation. Behind every kindness a cost. The one who kneels today will rise tomorrow with a blade in hand if he believes your back is turned. Trust only in interests, for they are more constant than affection or honor. Align the ambitions of others with your own survival, and they will guard you for their own sake. Never mistake motion for progress. A court bustling with activity may appear vibrant, but it often conceals rot. Many rulers exhaust themselves in small skirmishes, chasing enemies too insignificant to matter, punishing minor slights while greater dangers gather unseen. Do not let your energy scatter. Reserve it for the battles that decide everything. One decisive blow is worth 1,000 petty victories. Fortune is capricious, but she can be forced. She favors those who seize her violently, not those who wait politely at her door. When opportunity appears, you must act as though no second chance will come. Fortune shuns the cautious and devours the timid. And yet, there are moments when restraint achieves more than action. To know the difference is the rarest skill of all. Fear is a more reliable bond than love, but it is a dangerous tool. Wield it carefully. Fear must be strong enough to deter defiance, yet not so overwhelming that it breeds desperation. A desperate man has nothing to lose, and there is no opponent more dangerous. The art lies in keeping your subjects cautious, not suicidal, wary, not enraged. Cultivate mystery. When they cannot predict you, they cannot control you. The ruler who speaks too freely or acts too openly invites manipulation. Appear simple, even naive, but remain impenetrable beneath the surface. Let others waste their strength guessing your intentions while you study theirs in silence. Divide those beneath you, set rivalries in motion, pit one faction against another, so none grows strong enough to challenge you alone. Unity among your subordinates is a threat unless you are its sole source. As long as they compete for your favor, their energy is spent on each other, and you remain the arbiter above them. Do not reveal all you know. Information is a weapon. Give it sparingly, and only when it serves your design. The ruler who shares too much is a ruler disarmed. Let others underestimate you. Let them think you are unaware, even weak. It is often more effective to let an enemy believe he is winning than to strike too soon. His overconfidence will make him careless, and then he is yours. And yet, as much as you must inspire fear and command obedience, you cannot be distant. A ruler entirely removed from his people invites resentment. Show yourself when it serves you. Walk among them as a symbol, not as a man. They do not need to know you. They need to believe in you. Appear strong even when you are uncertain. Appear serene even when the world burns around you. Their faith in your composure is often more important than your actual strength. But never grow intoxicated by their adoration. The crowd is mercurial. Their cheers are sweet in the moment, but they are hollow. One failure, one rumor, one stroke of fortune against you, and they will turn on you as swiftly as they once embraced you. Build your power on foundations more stable than the moods of the masses. The most dangerous enemy is the one you do not see. He smiles in your presence, serves you faithfully, flatters your every word, but inside he harbors resentment, ambition, or fear. The wise ruler assumes such enemies exist and acts accordingly. Rotate offices, redistribute favors, never let any man grow so indispensable that he can threaten you. Today's trusted confidant may become tomorrow's conspirator if you grant him too much freedom. Punishment must be swift and certain. A ruler who tolerates defiance invites further defiance. When an example must be made, make it decisive. Do not let hesitation dilute your authority. And yet, avoid cruelty for its own sake. Excessive harshness breeds hatred, and hatred breeds rebellion. Let your justice be feared, but let it also be seen as necessary. When you destroy, destroy cleanly. When you reward, reward visibly. Both acts reinforce your image as the axis around which all else turns. The game of power has no end point. There is no final victory, no lasting peace. Even as you rise, new threats emerge. Even as you consolidate, forces of decay begin their work. This is the nature of the world. Do not resent it. Embrace it as the price of commanding your own fate. Cut the strings. Let no man, no faction, no ideal hold you captive. Every tie that binds you is a potential weakness. Sever them, or they will be pulled tight around your throat when you least expect it. Autonomy is the first step to dominion. If you cannot rule yourself, you cannot rule anything. And if you must choose between being loved and being feared, choose fear. Love binds only while it is convenient. Fear binds even in adversity. Those who love you may turn when your fortune wanes. Those who fear you will obey until they can no longer remember why. This is the ruler's burden, solitude. At the summit there are no equals, no confidants, no true friends. To share your mind fully is to give others power over you. To depend on another's strength is to forfeit your own. Walk the heights alone. The winds are cold, but the view is clear. Cut the strings, or you will remain forever at the mercy of stronger hands, a shadow of what you might have been. A puppet dancing to the tune of those bold enough to pull the cords you fear to sever. Power is not won by accident, and it is not kept by sentiment. It is an inheritance only for those willing to take it with bloodless hands and a sleepless mind. In the end, there are no saviors, no guardians to shield you from the weight of command. The world will not forgive you for your strength, nor will it forgive you for your weakness. Whatever path you choose, it will demand everything. You have learned by now that there is no virtue untouched by necessity, no friendship unshaken by ambition, no peace unthreatened by fear. The earth itself is indifferent, and the heavens are silent. It is here, in this mortal realm of shifting alliances and fragile thrones, that you must decide who you will become. You will be misunderstood. You will be hated. You may even be loved, though that is the most dangerous of all. Let them say what they will. You are not here to be understood. You are not here to be loved. You are here to endure, to shape, to command. And if you succeed, they will not see the thousands of choices, the nights spent in silence, the moments where you strangled your own doubts to act. They will see only the shadow you leave behind, and they will call it fate. Remember this as the final lesson. No one is coming to cut the strings for you. No one will grant you your freedom. You must seize it, ruthlessly and without apology, or accept that you will never taste it. There is no other choice. And when the time comes, as it comes for all, when the last ally falters, the last enemy closes in, and the final thread threatens to snap, you must meet that moment as you have lived, unflinching, unbowed, unmoved. For even if all you have built crumbles into dust, even if your name is cursed and your works are undone, there remains this one unassailable truth. You were no one's pawn. You pulled the strings, or you cut them, but you were never the puppet.